Hi, welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. I'm a singer, actor, and vocal coach here to help you build confidence in your singing voice. And I'm excited for today's episode, all about what techniques you can start working on developing today. If you are an actor in the musical theater space, especially wanting to develop your voice, or you are auditioning for musical theater programs or shows, and you're a singer, or maybe you've been doing pop and classical music or other styles of music, but now you're wanting to do musical theater. Regardless, you're wanting to focus on the technique that you need in order to really do well in the musical theater space, in the musical theater genre as a singer. And obviously musical theater is can be kind of like a broad term nowadays, because there are so many aspects of Broadway music and musical theater. Different genres are represented in different shows, but there are still some techniques that are some aspects of vocal technique that are just going to be very important regardless of what type of show that you're in, almost regardless of what type of show that you're in. Obviously, you're going to need to work on different things if you're auditioning for something like Sound of Music or Oklahoma versus if you're auditioning for something like Six the Musical or Motown or Dreamgirls, or like so many, like there's vastly different shows even between Six and Dreamgirls, right? Vastly different shows. But like, pop and contemporary styles and even soul styles can be found in Broadway and musical theater shows. And but you also have like golden age shows and shows that require what has have been historically referred to as like legit styles of singing, or singing that's more influenced by classical vocal styles. And so this makes it like a little bit challenging to pin down like exactly what technique you're gonna need. But for most contemporary musicals that are not necessarily golden age, and not necessarily requiring singing that's more influenced by classical style of singing, you are going to want to work on these three aspects of the voice, of vocal technique and performing technique. And regardless, these three things are still important to know. Even if you're going for a golden age, at least one or two of them is going to be important. So definitely listen in. I think that was the longest intro ever to the topic, but I hope that makes sense. So just so you know, it's kind of broad for me to say musical theater, because there are so many genres and styles that can be represented in musical theater singing these days. But for contemporary musicals, all three of these are essential, and at least one or two of them is going to be essential for even older golden age musicals. I guess I could have said that from the beginning, but now you know exactly what I mean. Thank you for following my thought process and journey with me. All right, so by the way, if we haven't met, hello. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you being here every single week. It makes me so happy. And guess what, you guys? I'll give you all a little update, a little personal update. Some of you guys know because you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but I graduated. I got my master's in music and music education from Teachers College at Columbia University. If you've been with me for any amount of time on this podcast, you will know this because I have talked about this program that I've been in for the last 2 years. So, wow. If you've been with me from the beginning of this journey, thank you so much, because you're a real one. Let me know if you have, because you knew when I first started. Or maybe some of you are really, really, really OG and you knew me when I was first, like before I even got into the program, when I first got admitted. But if you have come along for the ride over time, you're still welcome. And thank you for just being here, supporting me through this journey, especially if you supported me in the Facebook group or online anyway, or in person. I really just appreciate you so much. So yeah, I finished the program. Thank God we made it through by God's grace. And it was such a fun week. I went to New York last week. So last week's episodes I had already like done ahead of time. So I wasn't like actively doing them last week. They were recorded ahead of time. Last week I was in New York and visiting family in New Jersey as well, and getting to graduate at Columbia. It was just amazing. It was so much fun. And maybe I'll do like an episode reflecting on some things that I learned in my program that I think were really essential to me as a teacher, as a music and voice teacher, as well as a performer, because it's a program for music and music education. So It's also really focused on helping us to remain performers and to develop as performers and musicians and singers, as well as teachers of whatever instrument that we play. For me, voice. So yeah, thank y'all for your support during this time. If you don't follow me on Instagram at Creatively by Estelle, go ahead and check out my Instagram, Facebook at Creatively Performing Arts as well, and in TikTok as well. And that way we can connect over there, and you can see some pictures and videos and all the things that I'm sharing and have been sharing from my graduation. It's been so fun. I got to see Misty Copeland speak. She was our convocation speaker at Teachers College. If any of you guys just are dancers, if any of you are dancers, you know Misty Copeland. Incredible. She was fabulous. And also I got to sing at graduation right after Misty spoke, and then we had like a student speaker, and then like I was in an ensemble that was singing, and we literally, let me tell you all the story. I'm going off track here, but literally we got on stage, and I was on the side of the stage with the sopranos and altos. We were on the side of the stage that was standing right in front of Misty Copeland. You guys, I looked at her as soon as I got to my microphone. As I was walking to my microphone, I looked at her and smiled directly at her, and she smiled. She gave me a big smile back. It was so great. I wish I'd said hi or something like that, but we had to sing. So I just did a really quick smile, and then I had to be okay, performer mode activated. And then we sang right in front of her. It was crazy. But Misty Copeland, if you don't know, she is a super famous ballerina. She was the first Black principal dancer in American Ballet Theater. Words. The very first one, and she has just gone on to do such incredible things. She started dancing relatively late, considering, in comparison to the way that we consider, most dancers, most ballerinas starting off, and yet she was able to thrive, and she's an incredible speaker and so inspiring. And so yeah, y'all should look her up if you don't know her. Misty Copeland, she's amazing. But yeah, so I had a huge gushing moment with that, and then I got to perform. And the theater that we did our graduation, the convocation ceremony in for Teachers College, this was the day before the Columbia one. That's for all programs in Columbia, all master's and doctoral programs in Columbia University. The day before that, we had the one for Teachers College, which is where my department is. And that was done it's called the United Palace Theater, which is where they hosted the Tonys once. And all these famous people have performed there. And so it was an iconic historical theater that I got to perform in as well. And I performed there a couple times actually, because there was another graduation ceremony the day before that I got to perform in. And it was just such a fun experience. And obviously getting the degree, finishing up. I didn't actually get a degree yet. It's going to be coming in the mail. But just finishing up this program after all this time, and, just reflecting on the journey. It's just, I'm very grateful. It was a beautiful week to celebrate that. And yeah, again, thank you guys for being here and for listening to that whole spiel. I just wanted to share. It was really exciting and really fun. Okay, if y'all skipped ahead, we're getting to the tea now. What are the 3 things that you need to focus on? I feel if you're a musical theater girly, if you're a performer and you dance, you probably know Misty Copeland, so hopefully that was exciting for you too. We're going to talk about the 3 vocal technique tips now for you. If you are wanting to develop your musical theater voice, these are essential. They're non-negotiable. By musical theater voice, I mean get comfortable singing musical theater songs, specifically in the contemporary space, in the contemporary musical theater space. You gotta work on these 3 things, and I'm gonna give you an exercise for each one that you can start to work on today to help you to develop it. Okay, so the first one, the first aspect of vocal technique you need to work on is your mix, developing your mix. Your mix is a coordination. It's not a register per se. It is a coordination of muscles. So you have your main registers. There's vocal fry, which is mode 0. There's chest voice, or mode 1, also referred to as your lower main register, right? your vocal folds are thicker, thick chords, right? And then you have your mode 2. So you have mode 0, vocal fry, mode 1, which is chest voice. Mode 2, this is head voice. Okay, often called head voice. Also can be referred to as just as mode 2, or thin chords, your vocal folds are thinner, right? It can also be referred to as your upper register. And then above head voice, that's when we get into whistle, right? Or mode 3. The main ones though are mode 1 and mode 2, chest voice and head voice. However, the fun continues, because chest voice and head voice, those are like very distinct registers where you can hear in a voice, especially an untrained voice, like you can hear the drastic difference between I am in my chest voice versus, oh, no, sorry, let me get a little lower. I am in my chest voice versus I am in my head voice. You can hear the difference, right? You can really hear the difference. However, the mix coordination and mixing as an action, if you want to use it that way, mixing allows you to coordinate those muscles and use resonance strategies, so how your voice is resounding in your mouth, throat, and nasal cavities, right? Use some strategies to help you to create a sound that doesn't sound like it's too high in your head voice and really light, or too thick and really heavy in your chest voice, especially in those middle notes where you're like, oh, do I sing this in head voice? Do I sing this in chest voice? You can actually coordinate your voice, your muscles, and use resonance strategies to help you to create what we call a mix. It's also been referred to as middle voice for female singers who have a second break in their voice as we get up higher. We kind of have this other acoustic break in our voice as we get up. I won't go into that right now. Sorry guys, my nails just hit my keyboard. If you heard that strange sound. But just to say that so that middle part, it's like that mid-range space in your voice where you can kind of sing chest voice, but you might get tight. You might start to get tight, or you can switch to head voice, but maybe it's too light. You don't like how light it sounds, right? So what you need to do is you need to work on, first of all, you need to make sure that you have worked on and developed your chest voice so that your chest voice is accessible, it feels strong, you feel comfortable in your lower range, and then you also feel pretty comfortable in your upper range too. You feel good about your head voice, you can access it easily. You're not feeling like it's fluttery, or not your vocal folds are not coming together enough, like you have enough vocal fold closure, but you also have that nice airflow. You have a great balanced voice in your head voice as well. You want to have both, because then when you have both, you can work on developing your mix. So this mix kind of has a couple steps underneath it, because you do need to make sure you have developed your head voice a little bit and your chest voice a little bit. And I mean, I say develop, but literally you can be working on this in a matter of a week. If you work on this consistently, you're going to feel like you can access your head voice a little bit more easily. In a day, honestly, in a lesson, I help students access their head voice more easily, right? And your chest voice. It's not like super hard. You just have to do it. You just have to know how to do it, and then you have to be able to practice it again and again. But once you start to access them a little bit more easily, then you can strengthen them, but it's not like you have to take years and years and years to develop that before you can mix. It just is something you got to focus on for a little bit, and then we can start to work on mixing as well. But you kind of have to have head voice and chest voice developing and accessible for yourself, and you can access them and they're sounding the way that you like them to. And then we can work on mixing where you have that range in your voice, and it's kind of different from everyone, but mostly the same ranges for higher voices and lower voices. But you can then start to coordinate where you can have some elements of the strength of your chest voice. You have that nice firm chord closure. You have a little bit of breath pressure, but then you also have some of that lightness of your head voice. It's not a super heavy sound, and you have your resonance strategies that are helping you to still get volume, projection, amplification, and kind of that buzzy, nice sound that you want without it being like I'm in chest voice and I'm straining, or I'm in head voice and it's too light and airy. So you want to develop your mix where you can balance the both. You can bridge those registers really easily. And I'm going to give you an exercise that's going to be helpful for you to do that. It's focusing on helping you. This exercise is really more focused on resonance strategy and a little bit of chord closure as well. So making sure that your vocal folds are closing all the way, closing nicely and cleanly, while also helping you to direct your sound towards the front of your mouth and even your nasal cavity a little bit, so you can have that resonant sound even as you are a little bit higher, or like in your mid to higher range part of your voice. So it's a super easy exercise. I'm gonna do this for you guys right here. Just to start, we're gonna start a little bit low. But you're just gonna go in nya, 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 nya. So N-Y-E-A-H is how I spell it. Nya, like yeah, but with an N in front of it. N as in Nancy. Okay. N as in no good deed goes unpunished. Okay. That's a Wicked reference. You guys are musical theater people. You get it. Okay. Here we go. So this is how it goes. It goes nya, 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 nya. Okay. Nya, 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 nya. The N and the nya, that's getting your chord closure. It's getting your forward resonance there. Nya, 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 nya. And you want to keep it nice and bratty sounding. Like you're like, yeah, oh, oh, like that kind of feeling right there. You might even lift your top lip. You might feel a little bit of a spread in your lips, but not too much. If you are singing down the octave, you can sing down there. However, you're going to want to switch higher. You're going to want to be in the same octave as me if you are a tenor, bass, or baritone, because this is around the spot where you're going to need this strategy. You're not really going to need it any lower than this, most likely. You might start to break a little around this part in your voice, so this is where you're going to need the mixing strategy. So while you're coming out of chest voice, you have this ability to smoothly go into head voice, to smoothly transition and even mix in this part of your voice. So everyone should be on the same octave. Okay, we're all singing in the same part of our voices right now, both lower voices and higher voices, both TBB, tenor, bass, baritones, and sopranos and altos. Okay, SSAs, seconds, first, and altos. All right, here we go. Let's try it together. Nya, 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 nya. 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 Lower voices, you're going to feel like cracking maybe around this space. I want you to really lean into that bratty sound. Yeah. Can you say that? Yeah. Nya, 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 nya. Yeah, it was a little flat. Nya, 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 nya. Make it as bratty, and it does not need to sound good, okay? If someone's in the room with you, you better leave. Go to another room if you're going to be embarrassed. It should not sound cute, okay? It should sound a little ugly. It's okay. We're all friends here, okay? Here we go. Let's try it one more time. Nya, 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 nya. Going up. Nya, 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 nya. One more up. Nya, 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 nya. Keep it bratty. Back down. Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya. Keep it bratty. Nya, 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 nya. Two more. You got this. Nya, 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 nya. Last one. You can do it. Nya, 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 nya. Okay, this is a great exercise for developing mix, for helping you to feel that forward resonance space. You can get, it's a little nasal, but I want you to feel that buzz. I want you to feel that lift in your that directing your sound towards the front of your mouth. And honestly, you're creating less space in the back of your mouth, and that's okay. The part of it, the nya part of it at the end helps you to get a little bit more space, but I want you to focus on that forward space. So the sound in the front of your mouth, more open space in the front for this particularly is going to be helpful. This leads us to our next point, which is that you need to then work on developing a belt, your belt style. It's a style. It's not a register. Belting is a style of singing. You can sing this note in this way. That's just me in full head voice. I can mix it. That's me mixing it, and then I can belt it. That's me belting it. That's different. It's same exact note. That was the high C, the C5 right there. Same exact note. Sung three different ways. One is more of a traditional bel canto or classical style. I'm just singing in head voice. It's nothing special there. but you can then mix it, bring a little of that forward resonance. And then what we do with the belt is now we're going to take that mix. And I like to work on the mix coordination first. Start from that mix coordination of, now we're going to get even more amplification, even more volume and projection. And then we're also going to ask for our vocal folds to get a little bit more closure. I tend to, focus on more chord closure there. In order, again, for the volume. It's really just for the volume. And I also think about opening up a little bit more forward resonance, opening up the front of my mouth. And I think about how I would speak it. Like if I was going to say, right? Right? That gives you that volume. It gives you that projection. It gives you're getting the chord closure, but you're not yelling. I'm not yelling. I'm not going, right? That hurts. That is painful. That's not what we want. We want to start in that mix. No, we want to bring in more projection and send that sound outward. Right? That allows you to then get to that more belted sound. That wasn't that great, but you get what I mean. That last one wasn't the best, but it's okay. We're going to do an exercise for this one. The belt is, again, like I said, it's not a register. It is a style. It is a way to do the thing. It's actually a technique in and of itself. So this is an aspect of vocal technique that is its own technique, because it is a way. Technique is just the way that you sing. It's the way that you do the thing, right? The way in which you do whatever you're doing. So belting is just a way to sing. It's not the only option, but it is a way. And so it's something that's really important in musical theater space, especially contemporary musicals. You need to know how to do it. There's just no getting around it for the most part, unless you want to only be doing golden age stuff, which is not happening most of the time, all the time. So, all right, here we go. This is exercise. It goes, oh no. It goes, oh no, you don't. So we're just going to speak it first. So calling out, again, we want to think about a called out sound. Oh no, you don't. Can you say that to yourself? Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Right? Add a little attitude there. Okay. Now, again, we're all going to be on the same octave here, because typically you're going to work on belting in a higher part of your voice. Not necessarily always, but typically in musical theater, you're going to want to be belting in that middle to high part of your voice, because otherwise you're usually not hearing people belt super low. So yeah. Oh no, you don't. We're all on the same octave here. Oh no, you don't. Can you sing that like you are saying it to someone who's far across the room from you? Oh no, you don't. Sing that for me. Oh no, you don't. Here we go. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Open up on the no a little bit, so it's more of a no. Oh no, you don't. Get more space on the O. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Coming back down. Oh no, you don't. Send it out. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Two more. Oh no, you don't. Last one. Oh no, you don't. Okay, how's that? That's a great exercise. I've used this one with my students, and it definitely has helped them. Honestly, with their mix too, but it's really more focused on the called out sound, that technique. And we go back and forth with speaking it on different pitches. Oh, no, you... So if I'm going to you can do this when you're practicing. Oh, no, you don't. You can speak that. Oh, no, you don't, in that same space. And then go back to singing. Oh, no, you don't. Of course you can hit the note easily. Why not? You just spoke it, right? You just did it speaking. Why can you not sing it, right? So you kind of prove yourself that you can do it by speaking it, and then you translate that to singing. That's one of the ways that I love to teach my students. You guys, let's work together, by the way, if we haven't already. But I would highly recommend that you use that exercise if you're working on belting. Okay, last but not least, this is a very, very, very important aspect of, this is more so performing technique. So we talked about developing your mix, coordination, developing your belt technique. Now you're going to focus on developing your ability to storytell. This is essential. You need to be able to be a great storyteller as a musical theater singer, right? Especially if you're singing for auditions, right? You want to show them that you can tell a story, even if you're not singing exactly a song that's from the show you're auditioning for. You want to show them that you can come alive in a character, that you can tell a story from the beginning to the end of your song and take them on a journey, which is what you're going to do as an actor in the show. But even if you're like performing in a concert or just auditioning for a program or something like that, you still want to take people on a journey. That's what musical theater is all about. It's all about story. So one way to focus on developing your storytelling is to use this particular acting exercise and just like, I would say acting the song exercise that I use with my students a lot. And you can do this with any musical theater song you're working on. You're going to use the exercises that you're going to use. You have to use body language or a gesture, with every single phrase or word that you sing. So this is just an exercise. Obviously, you don't need to have emotion for every word that you sing in general with musical theater, but it's a great exercise to just get you out of your head and start playing around with different ways that you can use your body, your stage presence, your hands, your face, your head, your shoulders, your feet to express yourself. And so if you were going to sing the song, I already said No Good Deed. So I feel like I should sing that from Wicked. So if I was going to sing No Good Deed Goes Unpunished, right? I could sing for no. I could like slice my hands, an X and like break the X, like no good deed. And on deed, I could, clutch my hands into a fist or something with passion. Goes unpunished. On punished, I could drop my hands down to my sides and like tilt my head up. Like I'm just being kind of silly and dramatic, but like it's helping me to get out of my head and then like put some action into what I'm actually singing. It's also forcing me to think about the words that I'm singing, and I'm saying no good deed goes unpunished, right? And I'm upset about it. And I'm thinking through like the betrayal I feel, the fact that like I've done all these good things and like it doesn't go unpunished, right? Thinking about the character of Elphaba. And so I want you to think about, as you're going to use this exercise with your song that you're working on, this is something that you do when you're practicing, not when you're actually doing the audition, because you're not going to want to have emotion that you've like practiced with every single word. It's gonna look silly, right? But it's gonna help you to get out of your head, and then you're gonna find that there are some things that actually are really genuine and that are actually make really a lot of sense. And you're gonna keep those aspects of body language or gestures that actually make sense. Maybe throwing your hands down on unpunished actually felt very natural, and it shows your frustration. And so it actually works, but you're not going to do like the crossing on no or anything like that. You're not going to do like other silly motions, but you're going to keep the unpunished one, right? So focusing on storytelling can come through in your expressions, in your facial expressions, in your voice itself, of course, but also your body language and gestures. So that's why I think that this is a fun exercise that I have done with my students, and it's helped, especially my younger students, really come out of their shells and feel more comfortable just like using the stage, using their space, and moving their bodies, moving their hands, and telling the story. And it really just gets you out of your head. So I would say use that exercise of it's like a game. Like think of it as a game. You have to use a body language or gesture with every single phrase, or at least every single word, or at least a phrase that you sing for whatever audition or song that you are practicing. Okay. And then you can go back and like cut out the things that aren't natural and were just being silly, and keep the things that felt really natural and felt really authentic. And that is a way for you to really develop that storytelling part of you as a singer and performer in the musical theater space. All right. So I hope that was helpful to you. I really went in depth a lot here, but it's because these are fundamental. I mean, it's hard to be in the musical theater space and not need to learn to mix, not need to learn to belt, and not need to be great at storytelling. So these three aspects of vocal and performance technique for singers and actors in the musical theater space, they cannot be ignored, okay? You gotta go for it. You can do this. I believe in you. These are three things to focus on. Again, develop your mix. Use the nya, 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 nya. exercise that I led you through. Develop your belt using the "oh no you don't" exercise that I led you through. And then number three, focus on your storytelling using the body language and gesture acting exercise that I gave you as well. So those three things are what I would recommend to you if you're wanting to pursue a career or a creative passion project in the musical theater space. If you're an actor already in musical theater, but you really need to sharpen your vocal skills and your song performance skills, you must develop these three things. It's going to be so helpful for you in the contemporary musical theater space. If you're a singer who has been doing classical, especially, you got to work on the mix. There's mixing in classical singing, but it's a little bit different from musical theater in some ways. Mostly the resonance, that's and vowel modification. That's something that I would work with you on if you really want to work on that. Let me know. You can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio and book a consult, because that's something that we really want to focus on first. And then you want to get to belting for sure. You got to work on your belt, especially if you've been doing classical. You're really going to need to start to develop that for musical theater. And then if you've been a pop singer or singer-songwriter, right, maybe storytelling is going to be important for any style of singing, but especially in musical theater. If you're like struggling with the acting aspect of it, then you're going to want to work on that storytelling part too. So whatever you need help with, I'm here for y'all. You can come to the free Facebook group and ask me questions for the free. I will not say no. But if you'd like to work with me, I would happily help you. We can do a voice consult. It's free. It's just a free 10-minute call. And if you want to chat about like a question that you have, or something that just didn't make sense to you yet, or something that you're just struggling with in your own unique voice, because like I can give you all sorts of tips here, but it's always going to be a little different for each person to actually implement it. And that's what teachers are here for. I just want to help you implement it. I want to help you do it for real. And so if you want to work with me and you're not sure, or you just kind of want to get a little test, if you will, you can come and try a voice consult. It's in the show notes below, but you can also go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio, creativelybyestelle.com/studio, and you'll click the drop down menu and just see where you can grab a free consultation, and I can chat with you for about 10-15 minutes. We'll work through a little bit of a warm-up if you want, or we can just talk through what your goals are and how I can help you and answer any questions. And there's no pressure at all. You don't have to get a lesson with me whatsoever. You can just get your question answered, and I'd be happy to chat with a listener just in general. It makes me so happy to hear from y'all. But if you also are like, no, I actually want to grab a lesson, then that could be a great kind of intro lesson before you actually do the full lesson of 30 minutes or an hour. So yeah, go check that out. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you feel inspired and encouraged and ready to go. You can do this, okay? I'm here for you, cheering you on as always. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.